This video is about to get controversial. If you grew up in the 90s and grew up with the N64, if you actually did, well, you're not going to like this video. Because we'll be discussing, is Ocarina of Time really the greatest game of all time? Or is it just another symptom of nostalgia cutting through into gaming discussions as well? Well, so we already talked about Mario 64 in that other video about that thread, but one of the boldest claims people make online is Ocarina of Time is the greatest video game of all time, and if you question it, you're a bad person. You have no taste. If you question it, or say any other game, even though it's your personal opinion, these people come after you say, but Ocarina of Time is the greatest game of all time. They won't ever give you reasons. A lot of time be because my childhood, I grew up with the N64, the typical arguments, or Zelda, or this gives us iconic, you have to, give Ocarina of Time the same amount of praise as you do Skyrim, or Minecraft, or Borderlands 2, or any, or Halo 3, or Halo, or any big game, okay, or actually even Mario Odyssey and Breath of the Wild. Those games will never be as great as Ocarina of Time, because I grew up with the N64, and no game could ever surpass Ocarina of Time, okay? So, similar to Mario 64, Zelda has improved upon its formula since then, with Wind Waker, with Twilight Princess, with Breath of the Wild, and Tears of the Kingdom. Notice that we skipped Skyward Sword, because nobody likes that game, so... Actually, people do like Skyward Sword, which was so mentioned it, yes, Skyward Sword. That game will be mentioned too. All those games, yes, including Skyward Sword, have improved upon the Ocarina of Time formula. Heck, the second Zelda game on the N64, Majora's Mask, also improved on the Ocarina of Time formula. That game was also talked to death anyways, so I wouldn't say that game is underrated, or like the internet tried to tell you. Another false thing as well. So, yeah, the first video I talked about was debunking Mega Man's iconicness. Mega Man is not as iconic as the internet will like you to believe. But is Ocarina of Time really the greatest game of all time? I actually played Ocarina of Time several times. I didn't really care for the game all too much, which will probably piss off every 90s kid in the world, because they're like, how dare you dislike Ocarina of Time? Okay, Ocarina of Time is the greatest game of all time. Okay, nothing can pass it. Even though on the same site which was ran by these people, basically, Ocarina of Time still eventually lost on the greatest game status to Minecraft, which is pretty hilarious, yes, as well. But not too surprising considering how big of a game Minecraft is. But Ocarina of Time really is not the greatest game of all time. And really, it's up to opinion, but even objectively, gaming has improved since 1998. You have got to games like Breath of the Wild, Skyrim, and most recent Baldur's Gate 3. But apparently those games will never be as great as Ocarina of Time, or as revolutionary as Ocarina of Time, or as important as Ocarina of Time, because it's, my childhood nostalgia matters more than objectiveness. Okay, this year in gaming we have had games like Hogwarts Legacy release, Tears of the Kingdom release, and Baldur's Gate 3 release, okay? I haven't played any one of those 3 games, but all 3 games are very well received by the fandom, or by gamers as a whole. All 3 games are very well received. But there are still people who still believe in their opinion that Ocarina of Time is the greatest game, and it is your opinion. Ocarina of Time, is, a very well received game. It's a game that, is very well received, okay? But Ocarina of Time, okay, as a game, only sold around 10 or so million copies, okay? Is it really, again, someone could play a game that's only like 1 copy, and that one person could say, oh, that's the greatest game of all time. As, of course, if it's your opinion, and you just think Ocarina of Time is the greatest game, then go ahead, believe it's your opinion. But simply basing that opinion based off what the internet says is a very stupid thing to do, okay? And usually when someone says something is the greatest or something, for example, the Beatles is another example of this. Everybody, like a lot of people say the Beatles is the greatest band of all time, and the greatest music artist of all time. So I said, really? Are you sure? Are you sure? You sure you want to die on this hill? Because apparently, according to every Beatles fan, the music has not gotten better since the 60s. Okay, even though I bet most people who say that are probably boomers anyways. But Ocarina of Time is more recent because most of the people who grew up with Ocarina of Time are millennials. So most of the people who say Ocarina of Time is the greatest game of all time are millennials. Okay, who grew up with the game. Okay, and sorry, but your childhood does not make Ocarina of Time the greatest game of all time. Okay, it'll be similar to when Gen Z and Gen Alpha say Fortnite is the greatest game of all time, and then the generation after that will be like, really? Fortnite's the greatest game of all time? And same thing with Gen Z and late millennials say that Minecraft is the greatest game of all time. Okay, because that's the big game of that generation, and then the generation prior is Fortnite. And of course, we're gonna have the big game of Gen Alpha, which will be the 2020s. Okay, the game they grew up with. Okay, which mostly is Fortnite at this current moment. As well. So yeah, and people are gonna question, really, is Fortnite the greatest game of all time? People are gonna start questioning that stuff. Okay, people are gonna say, some people are gonna be like, really? I can form my own opinion and listen to something else when it comes to music. It's not just the Beatles. And the same thing with modern music. Okay, a lot of people, Gen Alpha and Gen Z, love Ice Spice. I don't like Ice Spice. I refuse to listen to Ice Spice whatsoever. Okay, I do not want to listen to that. But again, that is a matter of opinion. Okay, people Gen Z I could grow up with different music than people like Gen X and millennials will grow up with. Okay, especially boomers who mostly listen to stuff like Pink Floyd, Rolling Stones, AC/DC, Metallica is another one that boomers mostly listen to, especially the Beatles. Mostly listened to by boomers. And a lot of Queen fans are boomers as well. But there's a lot more younger Queen fans to the movie Bohemian Rhapsody as well. Same thing with Elton John with the movie Rocket Man as well. And Elvis probably also gained a lot of younger fans with the new Elvis movie. But there are artists again, with music, there are music artists that transcend generations. Like, for example, there are people who are probably Gen Z and Gen Alpha who listen to Michael Jackson on a daily basis. And also there will be boomers that also listen to Michael Jackson on a daily basis as well. Same thing with Queen. And probably even the Beatles as well. But again, just because someone says something is the greatest game of all time, doesn't mean it is. And you should really form your own opinion on it instead of basing your opinion on the internet as well. And really, there's YouTube and the internet has really formed when, my early era of YouTube, where I was just dissing everything just to piss people off because I was pissed that everybody would say this is the greatest or this is the best or this is the best, instead of forming my own opinion on things instead of arguing with people that it's complete garbage because you say it's the greatest of all time. And that's it about this video here. Goodbye.